Thank you. When I was 13 years old, I was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole for the crime of attempted murder. I grew up in a place called Central Park Village. The Central Park I grew up in is a lot different than the Central Park you guys might be familiar with in New York City. I only have a short period of time, so I can't give my full presentation like I usually do. But I can say this, that God gives each and every one of us a gift. And my gift is the ability to compose words in ways that move people. After I was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, I was placed in solitary confinement as a 15-year-old child, a place I was kept from November 1992 to November 2010. Yes, I was in solitary confinement for 18 consecutive years, the exact same amount of years that Nelson Mandela served. However, I was able to discover this amazing gift, and someone sent me Tupac Shakur's book, The Rose That Grew from Concrete. And I began rewriting, Tupac's poems. I began writing Maya Angelou poems. I began rewriting Eminem songs. I set up like Olympic-style obstacle courses in my solitary confinement cell to test myself against the greats. Because I would tell myself that, Ian, if you can't surpass this, then you don't have what it takes to be successful. So prisoners started paying me to write their girlfriends and their wives poems. They wouldn't give me my credit, but they would pay me to do it. And so and if you can please a prisoner, I'm telling you, if you can get a prisoner to pay you, because prisoners are worse than Simon Cowell, they're worse than the Sandman on Apollo. If you can please them, you actually have a gift. And one of the poems that I wrote, because once the U.S. Supreme Court overturned my life sentence, I went back to prison. I went back to be resentenced, and the judge told me something that let me know I was not going home that day. He said, Mr. Manuel, in 1990, the legislative intent was to punish, not rehabilitate. I knew I wasn't going home that day, so the judge went in his chambers and came back out, and he resentenced me to 65 years in prison in place of my life sentence. But I'm not an anomaly. State judges are frustrated with the United States Supreme Court and federal courts telling them how to run their states. So they are trying to get as close to life as possible in a term of year sentence. And so it was, when I went back to prison, I was wondering, would I ever get out? And I had to just see hope. And I held hope. Just look, I want you guys to focus on the center of y'all table. You see that candle that's burning? That's the flame of hope that burned within me. And I wrote this poem called My Time Is Gonna Come, which is the title of my Random House release that is scheduled to be released in 2021. The poem I want to share with you, it goes, I promise you, the brunt of my oppression has a purpose. And this same person that you persecute will one day be worshiped. Though I stand before you bare-chested and shirtless, with my soul and emotions naked, just wanting to be nurtured. Yeah, despite the desperation, desertion, and hurting, my time gonna come. Though I compose this poem not knowing if I'll ever be able to perform it in an auditorium, I do it with the faith of a poet that believes he was born to do it, like an acorn caught up in a storm, flung from the branch where it was born. You can only hold me back for so long. My time gonna come. Despite the difficulties and disappointments, my determination remains undaunted. Though the waters of my tomorrows are deep and uncharted, the buoyance of my character will float unwavering towards them, like a song written, yet unrecorded. My time gonna come. Though you wrapped me in chains and sprayed me with chemical flames and did all of the things you did to add to my pain, my circumstances will change. I believe this with the depths of my being, that as long as this world continues to spin, it cannot end until it's been enjoyed by Ian. Remember this day, because things won't always be this way. My time gonna come. My time gonna come against all conceivable odds. My time gonna come. You can clap. You can clap. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. And I think I got time for one more quick one. Y'all mind? Do y'all mind? Well, in prison, they use PBS as a punishment. In prison, they use PBS as a punishment. Yes, because prisoners like to watch sports and entertainment. And so on this particular day here, they chained me up and brought me out to the TV room to watch PBS as a punishment. It was a poetry show on a documentary called To Be Heard. And I was able to watch this documentary and be exposed to another form of poetry. It's called spoken word poetry. And I was able to perform this poem. I couldn't wait to get back to my cell, because I went back to my cell and I wrote my best poem that I had ever written, and it's called Every Time I Breathe. I want to share it with you tonight if y'all will let me. Every time I breathe, I feel the need to justify my existence, to take this moment that I'm living and enjoy every millisecond in it. My life and my struggles, not many can comprehend it. My desire for freedom burns like a sausage inside a skillet. Tomorrow isn't promised, so I'm thankful for this minute. Though in prison merely existing, it's like my life has been suspended. But that means it's temporary, because I haven't been expelled. And I still got a chance as long as I can in and exhale every time I breathe. Every time I breathe, I'm thankful for the oxygen from the trees and little things like little bees that get overlooked until they sting. Every day I'm faced with obstacles that block the progress to my dreams. But the blockades only masquerades like costumes on Halloween. I've been through enough pain to make a sane man just scream. But instead, I take a deep breath and just breathe. Every time I breathe, the cosmos come out of my nostrils like particles of product coming out of your console. My soul is like a chihuahua you didn't include in your carpool. My lungs relax and collapse like a bottom sitting on the bar stool. Every time I breathe. Every time I breathe, I become an intergalactic being, stepping out of character like a chiropractor, snapping peas. I prayed so many times, it's like I got arthritis in my knees. But I still get down and bow my head, because I continue to believe that as long as I can breathe, God's going to make a change. And my circumstances are only chances for me to glorify his name. You don't know me, homie, but there's odds I've already overcame. So if praying works but hurts, then I can stand a little pain. I want to end this part by thanking God for bringing me to these heights. And I make a promise to always honor and cherish this breath of life. Every time I breathe, every time I breathe, every time I breathe. And thank God they punished me with PBS that day.